Welcome you all to the Free Beer Tomorrow show with your hosts Joe, Marthy, and Ray Ray.
Well, I didn't come here to dance, and I didn't come here to talk. I just came here for the whiskey, and I'll be here till last call. 'Cause I'm a blue red man. It looks like she's gone for good.
A music journalist and a radio host with a huge passion for preserving the legacy of rock, blues, and jazz. Through his podcast, Interviewing the Legends, Ray Shasho dives into powerful conversations with iconic and emerging artists, keeping the spirit of classic music alive. He's the author of The Rockstar Chronicles, which captures the stories and wisdom of the legends who helped shape our culture. And now, Ray takes us into new territory with his latest book, The Liberty Code. This gripping science fiction novel boldly reflects real-world conflict and truth, and you're going to love it. Get ready for Free Beer Tomorrow's first unforgettable episode. Let's give a warm welcome to our guest, Ray Shasho.
Hey guys,
let's go.
What's happening? How's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
We're doing fine here on planet Earth, and I don't know what planet you guys are on.
Well, I never know.
After I read a little bit about that book you got coming out, I'm wondering myself what planet we're on. Wow.
I tell you what is fascinating about this book. What really freaked me out was a lot of the things in the book I started writing about began to come true. And I wrote this book in just a couple of months, and the material just came to me out of nowhere. So it was kind of like somebody was feeding me this information. And that's what I had the idea in the book, that let's feed information from an alien to my main characters, Sam Edwards. And that's where the Liberty Code came from.
Telepathically,
right? He writes a book, and all the information just comes in this book about how to save the planet. So the same thing happened to me. I wrote this book really quick. It was like it came from somewhere else. You know, it was really wild.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it was really neat.
You go from rock stars to aliens.
From rock stars to aliens, and actually they're kind of similar, you know. But you know what's cool is a lot of rock stars have had UFO moments. They have seen UFOs, and not because of the drugs. They claim they really saw.
I was just going to say, hold on a second.
That sounds like something in a movie.
It is, yeah. There's been a lot of sightings lately, you know, and there's been a lot of whistleblowers. So this book comes at a pretty cool time, you know, with a lot of alien traffic and UFOs, and you know, there's a lot of ufologists in the world following all these happenings, which is really cool. And I might probably end up creating another podcast all about this subject, because I think it's an interesting subject. I actually witnessed a UFO when I was about 10 years old.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it was kind of an orb, and we lived near Andrews Air Force Base, you know, in Maryland, and it kind of circled us, and it kept circling in a very slow rotation. And me and a buddy of mine, we got so excited about it, we woke everybody up in all the buildings in the apartment complex and made them come out to the parking lot to look at it. So it was witnessed by probably a couple of hundred people.
Wow.
We even called Andrews Air Force Base to see if they knew about it, but they wouldn't say anything, of course.
So do you think they knew about it?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think they do.
It could have been a drone, right? Drones were back then.
Back then? No, this was 1968. I don't know if they had drones back then.
What could it be?
It was a UFO.
There you go.
There you go.
Did you have any interest in UFOs before the sighting? Or
Oh yeah, oh definitely. I was a big sci-fi nut. Grew up watching Star Trek, the original Star Trek, the Outer Limits, uh, Twilight Zone. I mean, I love all those shows. They're very cool.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to share your trailer real quick. Looks like you
Okay.
just launched it, well, about 24 hours ago.
Yep, my book trailer for
Yeah.
The Liberty Code.
Okay.
In a fractured America ruled by the authoritarian Commonwealth Party, freedom is a relic of the past. Democracy is crumbled, the media is silenced, and the truth is a weapon. But one man, Sam Edwards, a decorated Marine veteran and journalist, holds the key to unlocking a future worth fighting for. The Liberty Code was meant to be fiction, but with the telepathic guidance of two extraterrestrial Centauri ambassadors, J-Rod and Naxia, it reveals a hidden reality more terrifying and more hopeful than anyone imagined. From the classified S4 facility near Area 51 to the ruins of suppressed democracies, Edwards uncovers a global conspiracy and the master plan to stop it. After J-Rod's death, a mission begins to fulfill his vision: the permanent elimination of nuclear weapons, the revival of free societies, and the awakening of Earth's people to a galactic truth long denied. Covert military operations like Operation Yuma liberate nations, and a new chapter begins as Earth's enemies are exposed and confronted. But power resists change. The Commonwealth's grip tightens. The Blackout Committee censors all dissent. Journalists vanish. AI manipulates public perception, and chaos reigns. Through it all, a secret force rises: the Liberty Regiment. Men and women who refuse to surrender, who carry the last ember of the American spirit. As the fight for Earth's soul intensifies, Edwards, along with Naxia and trusted allies, embarks on an interstellar journey to Proxima Centauri b, determined to preserve the truth and document a future shaped by alien allies and human courage. The Liberty Code is more than a novel. It's a battle cry, a love story, and a blueprint for redemption. The truth is no longer hidden. The war for Earth has already begun. Will you decode it?
Wow.
Pretty
That's
good
awesome.
movie, huh?
wow.
That should be a movie, yeah.
Okay. I have to ask this, right? That book supposedly takes place in what? The year 2040?
Yeah, 2040. Yep.
Okay, so I'm not good at math, but that's about 15 years from now, give or take.
Yep.
Okay. You say this is a fiction book?
We better work on get our shit together now before it happens.
Oh, wow. I mean, it looks to me like you're predicting the near future, I think.
Yeah. Well, things are happening.
Yeah.
The president in my book that takes over is President Coley. She's a woman.
Right.
And she's a very intelligent and smart woman, and she gets right down to business. I mean, she saves Cuba. We turn Cuba into a state. And then all of a sudden I find out Trump wants to turn Greenland into a state, and also Canada.
Right. And you did that, but you wrote the book before.
Way before. Yeah. So a lot of weird things happening.
This isn't fiction. This is not fiction. Well, this is the man predicting the near future right here.
That's what it is.
I took a lot of the conspiracy theories that are out there on the internet and put it in a book. Like J-Rod, he's real. They say J-Rod used to work at S4, which is in Area 51.
Okay.
And he helped the Air Force and taught him about reverse engineering. So I put a lot of these conspiracy theories that are out there all in the book.
The book.
Because it made it interesting, and a lot of it could be true,
And J-Rod is an extraterrestrial.
Yeah, he's a gray alien, right?
And
Wild.
yeah, okay. I'm blown away right now. Wow.
Yeah,
But
that video just made me think, man, we're getting ready to go watch the newest and greatest sci-fi, Star Wars slash mixed with everything. That just drew me in. I mean, wow.
we haven't had a blockbuster in a long time.
You're
Right?
right.
Don't you
Yeah.
remember the summers where you had Star Wars and Close Encounters and Jaws? Everything came out in like one summer. We haven't had a blockbuster in a while.
I don't think you have just a book there. I think you have a movie. I think you have a hit movie right there, a blockbuster.
It takes the right people to see it and act on it. I just don't have the connections. I got rock and roll connections, but the movie business, nah,
Well, so speaking of the movie business, were you working on a sitcom at one point?
yes,
Is that still in the works?
it's out. I mean, I got it's a funny comedy sitcom based on my first book, Check the G's.
Okay.
Um, it's called Retail Baby, and it's about growing up in a family business in Washington, D.C. with all my uncles and cousins, and we sold retail electronics from the late 50s all the way to the 90s. And it's very, very funny. All my uncles look like they were in the mafia. We did some crazy, crazy stuff. We talked in Pig Latin. The customers didn't understand what we were talking about.
Many code words. You had a lot of
A
code
lot of code words. Yeah, yeah. But we were right there on 13th Ave Street, about 2 blocks from the White House. It's very funny, but I don't know what to do with it.
Well,
What do you do with a sitcom that you just wrote?
people need to read that book as well.
Yeah.
Because
It's a good book.
I skimmed through it, and your childhood is very interesting.
Yeah,
Literally, you went to work when you were 6 years old with your father. Is that
I
correct?
did. I did.
And started selling in the family store
I did. Yeah.
at 6 years old.
At 6 years old. Yeah. Just
That's
barely lifted my head above the counter.
Right, right.
Can I help you?
But you were a good salesman.
I was. I was taught by the best,
Yeah, it seemed like from what I read, your family had some real characters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Real characters.
Like I said, they were all mafia looking, but they were the sweetest people.
Right.
Good heart. They do anything for you.
Sure.
They're all from Brooklyn. All from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have a really like wild story you could share with us? Maybe at the store or when you were growing
What, the
up?
store? Oh my
Yeah.
God, there's so many. There are so many. I mean, DC was interesting. We had, a guy would come in the lobby of the store and take a crap right there in front of the store. I mean, we saw a guy running naked through the streets in DC. We had a trick. Oh God, we had rats. The last at Worldwide Electronics, DC rats were like the size of dogs. Oh my God. And they would hide in the trash, and it was crazy. I mean, all the building was made, like early 1920s, late 1800s. A lot of history there. But my uncles, this is how crazy they were. A guy would come in with a camera, like a foreigner. My camera don't work. Can you help me? Sure, let me take a look at it. He'd take the camera into the back, get a hammer, start banging on the table, bring the camera back. I fixed it. Oh, thank you so much. How much? $50. All he did was like clean the contacts from the batteries. They would do stuff like that,
I love it. That's some businessman right there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It lasted a long time too.
And the name of the business?
Now, okay.
The first name.
The first store was called Ching Long Art Gallery. Had nothing to do with art.
That sounds like a total cover up for something.
It does, doesn't it? I don't know where they got there was some kind of king or Chinese I don't know, king or something like that. I don't know where they got that from. But they invented the name, and I mean we had electronics, lots of cameras and film, and in the middle of the store souvenirs of Washington D.C.
Sure.
It was a mixture of everything,
Wow. The good old days.
The good old days.
So when you release what I want to know now. After I'm still hooked on this this pre-video that you've blessed us with tonight. What is the plan when you release this book? Are you going to do a tour? Are you going to do autograph signings? Where can we find you? I mean, where are we going to look for this book?
Well, I hired a company to help me with the promotions. I've already started a lot of the promotions. You know, writing a book is easy. Selling it and you know, selling copies and getting it to the public and letting them read it, that's the hard part. But they're signing me on a lot of radio stations to do these kind of interviews. They're working with advertising on Amazon and doing a lot of other things. There's supposed to be a really good company, so I'm looking forward to that. You can pre-order the book now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, bookbaby.com. That's where I can make the most money on BookBaby because they published it. And they're working on the audiobook, so it's going to be an audiobook too.
Oh, nice.
And right now they're working on it. So you can pre-order it now. The official release is June 1st.
I don't know if I can wait that long after watching that video. I'm just
If you're into military technology, I use all the latest military technology and the real weapons in the book. And if you're into political intrigue and, you know, corruption, and you're going to see it all in this book. It's not just about aliens. There's aliens in it, but they're there just to help us and guide us to save the world.
To save us.
And it's narrated by this guy, Sam Edwards, who's an ex-Marine vet, and he's also a journalist. And he takes you through step by step in the book. He's kind of the hero in the book.
Is Sam based off of anyone that you know personally, or?
Nope.
Okay.
Like I said, all this information came into my head really fast.
That's crazy.
I never had a pause, never had a block.
Right.
I wrote this in 2 months. The other books I've written took me 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
You know?
This was meant to be, this book.
I think so. Yeah.
Well, it needs to hurry and come out, and you needed to get it done quickly, because if you didn't get it done quickly, it would already have happened in real life. That's what
That's true.
There you go. Yep.
I'm just waiting.
The AI direction, the book.
It's all happening. Bay, Wisconsin, that's a big concert town.
Is it really?
It is. Wisconsin.
I mean, it's a big football town.
It's a big concert town too. They had a lot of good concerts there. Yeah.
Awesome. Yep.
Well, I'm still doing my podcast. It's called Interviewing the Legends, and it's been a slow year. The last interview I did was with Alex Lifeson from Rush, the guitar player from Rush.
Okay.
And that's it. I've only done about 5 interviews this year so far. It's been a very, very slow season.
Well, you've been writing books.
I've been writing books, yeah. Promoting this book, and yeah. My first book was called, you mentioned it, Check the G's, about growing up in the family business. The second one is called The Rockstar Chronicles, and that's got over 45 interviews with music legends. And the first chapter is all the guys that have now passed away. You know, guys from Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and Tony Joe White. A lot of guys that are not with us anymore. So, yeah, Chris Squire from Yes.
Wow. So you know all these people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I know a lot of guys.
And you have been basically on a personal crusade to save classic rock music, right?
Well, to save good music.
Okay, yeah.
You know, you don't see bands anymore. They don't promote bands anymore. You don't see the star guitar player, you know, like Jimmy Page.
No, you don't.
You know, those kind of guys. You see Taylor Swift and crap like that.
Obviously, you're a big Taylor Swift fan.
Oh yeah. Her and all these singers with their auto tune to get their voice, you know, not sounding like themselves. But yeah, I don't like terrestrial radio. It's horrible. You know, and I used to be a DJ back in the late 70s. I did top 40. And back then it was okay. We had a good playlist.
Sure.
But today it's just horrible. And you play the same crap over and over again.
You could choose the music, right? You could choose.
Back then, yeah, you had a playlist. And I could add my own input, you know.
Sure.
But today it's all it's corporate, you know. It's one station rules all, you know, and they play the same crap over and over again, the same music over and over again. It's a shame. It's just pure laziness, and all they want to do is sell commercials. That's all they want to
So
do. It's all about money.
what's classic rock today? Would you say like Disturbed, Blink 182?
Yeah, actually, yeah,
That-
those '90s grunge bands are now classic rock. You're
That's
right.
classic rock, right?
It is now. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that means you're getting old too.
I am.
Because that's all the music you grew up with.
Yep. That's nuts.
Yeah.
So my friends, I live down in the Myrtle Beach area, right?
Yep. Beautiful area.
We have unlimited places that have live music on a daily basis, and it's 90% of it's free. There's no cover charge.
Right.
It's a great place to live if you love to see live music. And some friends of ours, we go out occasionally and see different bands, and we like to see the bands that play the 80s and 70s and 80s music, you know. And I'm a, you know, Van Halen, Motley Crue, those kind of bands, the hair bands, you know. And friends of mine, you know, they're a little bit older, so they're maybe more into the you know,
Zeppelin.
yeah, for sure Zeppelin. Yes, for sure Zeppelin. And in that era, and we look at each other all the time, and we ask ourselves, what kind of music is going to replace this music?
It's
And
horrible.
it doesn't seem to be happening.
No.
And kids, younger kids, like I'm talking kids in their teens and 20s,
Yeah.
they're rocking out to the 70s and 80s music
I
that
know.
we knew.
Yeah. Well, it's these stupid people that are in control of the radio station. I mean, that's where it all happens. I grew up with radio. I grew up with an AM transistor radio, listening to, you know, the early stuff, you know, the Beatles and things like that.
Right.
And you get excited. You go to the record store and buy their record. And then when they came in concert, it was cheap. I mean, I saw bands, 3 big bands, you know, like at the Capitol Center in Maryland. $650, $550, $450. Those were the ticket prices. I had front row seats for the Rolling Stones for $9.
Wow.
That's what, you know, they wanted to sell the albums. They didn't, you know, that they had the concerts cheap because they wanted you to buy the record, you know.
Sure.
But now it's, you know, I'm not going to pay $200 for a ticket. That's ridiculous.
So what are they selling today? What is their goal to sell today?
That's what they sell them for, $200, $250, you know. Prices like that. I'm not going to pay that price. And I get it for free anyway because I cover the shows.
Well, there's a perk. That's right.
That's a perk. That is a perk.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you got addicted to rock and roll music, what, in your early teens?
Early. You know what I would do in high school? I'd skip school. Before I drove, I'd get on the phone in school. You know, they had a telephone, phone booth type telephone, and I'd call a taxi. Taxi would pick me up. I'd go to Montgomery Ward's, Ticketron, and buy tickets to concerts. And then the taxi cab would take me home. You know, I did that on a regular basis. I was so addicted to rock concerts. It was crazy.
Rumor has it you even flunked your sophomore year in high school.
I did.
Dang.
No, I made it up.
Right.
I had to go to summer school.
Right. Well, that's awesome. What a great time to grow up.
Hey peeps, it's your boy Joe. Thanks for tuning in to the Free Beer Tomorrow podcast. You know, people always say you only live once. I call bullshit on that. I say you need to live every day because you only die once. Now please take a second to click that like button and go ahead and subscribe to our channel. You can find us on TikTok and YouTube at Free Beer Tomorrow Podcast.
To revive it and clean it
Are
up.
they?
But it's definitely not like it was when you were stopping there, I'm sure.
No, it was a good place for fireworks, that's for sure.
Okay, yeah.
Of course, we're talking about south of the border in Pedro's place.
Pedro's place, right.
But the signs, right?
Yes. Like 120 you counted, right? 120 billboards
I know.
going down I-95.
Yeah. But it's cool, right? It kept your interest.
It is cool,
You know?
yes. And you
Yeah.
know, the Pedro, I'm sure maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't when you were doing your vacations back and forth, but currently today they have this great big sombrero on top of it's a sombrero tower, right?
Right. Yeah, it was there.
And okay, so when I see that, I see it from a distance a lot of
Mhm.
times, and it looks like a UFO. But not
It
really.
does. Joe, maybe it is.
It might be. You're right. And maybe it's not really even there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. Up in the mountains, UFOs hang out in the mountains, the
Yes.
water, the oceans, and the mountains.
Yeah, we got
Really?
some conspiracy theories about the Great Smoky Mountain National Parks, so
Like what?
I don't know. That's just a lot of conspiracy theories I've heard about different places up Arcades Cove,
Mm-hmm.
different places. Like I was sitting here going through, listening to you talk about the research you done and pulled stuff, and you see these stories, and then that sparks the interest of, hey, now I'm gonna go watch this stuff again, read about it a little bit, and it just sparks your interest because I think you've hit on something on this. Like it would be a great to be able to put that together in a short period of time that you did, but also draw my attention as quick as you did with that
Mm-hmm.
little short intro video. So yeah,
It's
I
a
appreciate
big
that.
cover up. It really is. There are so many whistleblowers and guys that with credible stories. I mean, we're talking about military officials. There's, let's see, Donald Kehoe, Stanton Friedman, Bob Lazar, who was a big on, he said he worked at Area 51. Yeah, and he witnessed the spacecraft and everything. Then they made up a lot of bad things about Bob Lazar, and now he's kind of quiet. They won't let him talk anymore, basically. But I believe in a lot of things he said. David Grouch is a former U.S. intelligence official who claimed the government is recovered and concealing crashed UFOs and their occupants. Uh, there's Luis Elizondo and of course David Grush I just mentioned. They're all whistleblowers, and they know things. They really do, and they're hiding it. I mean, Navy pilots, are saying these things, and they have video, and a lot of these things have been happening lately. If you go on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of really new evidence of UFOs.
Have you seen any clear pictures? I have just never seen a clear picture of an alien. That's
But now with AI, it's going to be really difficult.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah, you're not going to know. Yeah.
It's going to be tough. But no, they have, I don't know, where is it, in Arizona? I mean, thousands of people, including the police department, have seen, a bunch, like a bunch of UFOs together, like a flock or whatever of UFOs together that have come and gone. And, there's just too many sightings to say,
Yeah,
nah.
and ain't Utah supposed to be like a
Yep.
like a hotbed for it? There, you got all these network TV stations, doing these documentaries and these different things of these ranches out in Utah and all these sightings and different things. So it keeps the interest up and it keeps the hey, what is out there? Who knows? But AI is definitely going to make it more challenging.
Oh yeah. In my book, I've got, I don't want to disclose too much, but a gray alien, Noxia. She's the one that's working with the Air Force now. J-Rod was the original, but he dies. Noxia gets into the Oval Office with President Coley, and they talk to the nation and tell everybody that they're real. But then her planet gets really mad at her for doing that. They didn't want to have the truth exposed. So you'll have to see what happens at the end.
Oh, you're going to leave us hanging.
Of course.
Ah. Well, that's good. I'm going to pre-order mine when we get done here.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
But here's the cover.
Bookbaby.com, right?
Bookbaby.com, I make the most money.
Well, that's what we got to do. Bookbaby.com, people.
Bookbaby.com, yep.
The Liberty Code.
Yeah, that is really neat. And again, I'm just a little wigged out about how realistic this seems to be.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you call it fiction, but
I call it fiction because I can't prove anything, you know? So it's based on conspiracy theories, but I believe in it. You know, I talk to a lot of rock stars that have seen, you
yeah, you said
know,
it wasn't the drugs. It was they've really
no, one of them, he just passed away not long ago, Michael Pinder from the Moody Blues. He actually told me he saw a fleet of UFOs in the sky. Chris Squire from Yes. I bring up this subject because you know I want to see what these guys think. Chris Squire from Yes told me that he believes that they are UFOs are us from the future, that we came back and it was our technology and then we just came back, so it's us from the future. That's what he believed in, and then a lot of people do believe in that, you know. So
Sorry,
what are you doing?
real quick. You got to see this. I don't know if you guys seen this yet.
February 2020, an Airbus A320 is on a routine
Okay, here we go.
over Medellin, Colombia. Little does the captain know he's about to find out he's sharing the friendly skies.
This is real too. This
Pilot
isn't
does us the
fake.
favor of showing his altimeter, and we can see that he's flying around 30,000 feet in altitude.
The pilot then points his camera phone out of the cockpit window, and watch this as he zooms in. A metallic-looking object, a polyhedron of some sort, whizzes by in a straight line. We slow it down and zoom in further. You can see it kind of looks like a cube.
It has these kind of little points that stick out. It does seem to be darker in color and not like a bright, shining balloon. Whatever this is, it definitely shouldn't be there.
One theory is that if we were visited by another civilization, they might send probes ahead of when they actually come.
February 2020.
Had like 323,000 views. History Channel.
Mm-hmm.
oh,
So
wow.
people just forget about stuff, you know? It just kind of goes away.
Larry, you actually thought you saw a UFO, isn't that right?
Yeah.
Oh, do
I
tell.
thought I saw one.
And he posted it on YouTube.
I did. Yeah, I got a lot of hits on it too.
Do
And
tell.
what was it? What was it?
It was a candlelight. It's a candlelight. Yeah.
Were you drinking again? That's what everybody needs to do is subscribe to Ray Shasho's channel on YouTube, right?
And see the candlelight.
See the
And see the
candlelight. Yeah.
candlelight.
I'm not going to show
Yeah.
that one. That was pretty embarrassing. But
Oh boy, that's awesome. Well, you know, I've never really thought about UFOs and aliens and all that. I've never really gotten into that a whole lot. But if we're here, why can't someone else or something else be elsewhere, right?
That's right.
I feel like you're being just a little bit, what's the word? If you don't think anyone else or anything else can exist,
Naive.
you're being a little
yeah.
naive or right. You never know.
so I have one question about your book. So if you could have any theme song for your book for the Liberty Code, what would you make it?
Well, because of copyright, I can't put the music I really want.
But do you have like a classic rock song for it? Is there any like specific song you would?
There's so many. There's so many. You know, I interview a lot of progressive rock, which is very spacey, you know, kind of like Yes, Pink Floyd type-ish music.
That would be
And
cool.
these guys are from all over the world, and this is new music, and they've got some great spacey type music that would be great for the theme song. But if I went old school, I don't know, probably a Yes song, maybe,
I could see that.
or a Pink Floyd song, you know.
I can see a Pink Floyd song
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
So something like that.
Huh,
Yeah,
very
that's what came to my mind was Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd, yeah.
The old concerts with the pigs floating around,
Yeah.
you know, inside.
Speaking of that, Ray, didn't you go to a Black Sabbath concert for your first time, and your buddy saw Red Flying Devils or something like that? Freaked out?
Yeah, that's true.
Red Flying Devils?
He freaked out
What?
He freaked out. It was a Black Sabbath concert, 1973. And Ozzy Osbourne was different back then. He wore fringes on his jacket, and he always flashed peace signs, and he didn't curse or anything back then. But they had a big crucifix up, and every time he listens to Black Sabbath music, he used to see devils. And the guy was so freaked out, he started doing push-ups right in the hallway of the Capitol Center. I don't know. He might have been on something. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh man.
I grew up with an eclectic family. My father, his family, they were Jewish, but his father was from Syria. And the Jews in Syria had to get the hell out of there. They were kicked out. My mom was Cuban, and her mom was from Spain. So my mom was listening to a lot of Celia Cruz, who was like the biggest star in Cuba. My dad loved Kassom, which was a very famous Egyptian singer. And then you go to my room and listen to Zeppelin and Leonard Skinner. That's every day at my household.
Now, speaking of your room, didn't you even set up plants on the ceiling?
I did. They glued. I was.
Yeah,
I was out there.
Put like a what do you call it?
Not a solar system. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. It was like a solar system in your bedroom.
There were styrofoam balls. I painted them in fluorescent paint.
There you go.
And I had the whole solar system on my ceiling, and I painted my walls purple, and I had black lights everywhere. It was cool.
There you go.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
He was doing it in real life.
The movies I like Airplane, like those politically incorrect movies like Airplane. Love it.
That's cool.
Absolutely love it.
He was probably on Days of Thunder. Who knows?
I'm not sure I was on Days of Thunder, but I was definitely at the racetrack when they filmed Days of Thunder.
Really? That's
awesome.
very cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, they would actually take a race car and they would have to qualify for whatever race they wanted to get film from. And they'd actually put a real race car driver, not Tom Cruise, which I guess he probably is a race car driver, but they would get a real NASCAR type driver and qualify the car into the race, because back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was usually more cars showing up at the racetrack for a race than there was spots available. So they would send 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 cars home each week. So in order for this production company to actually get the film they wanted from, actually during the race, NASCAR made them qualify a car in the race and go from there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Which brought mixed reviews amongst the garage area, because if a Hollywood production company was putting a car in a race, that meant that one of the real racers was not making the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could look at it either way. But they just did what they had to do, and it's quite the movie.
Who was your favorite racer?
Favorite racer?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a tough one. So I've worked with a lot of great racers.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite racer, I can tell you exactly who my favorite racer is. It just hit me. It's Dave Marcus.
Dave Marcus.
I don't know if you know that name. Dave started in the late 60s, raced through the 70s, 80s, 90s. And he gave me my first job in racing.
Really? Is that right?
So if it wasn't for Dave Marcus, I wouldn't have met.
Well, how'd you get started anyway? Don't you have to have some qualifications in mechanics as a mechanic or something like that?
That's a great question. And when I met Dave Marcus for the first time ever, before he gave me a job, I said, "Sir, what do I have to do to get a job in racing?"
Right.
It's a great question. He looked at me like I had 2 heads, and he said, "Well, you send me a resume, and it was just like any other job. We'll decide to hire you or not."
And they'll teach you. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what he did. Yeah.
How about that? They probably want to teach you better than already be experienced, because you can learn their way, basically, right?
For sure. That's definitely a positive part of that.
Right.
Dave was an independent team, a small team.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the driver as well as the owner. And his wife did all the book work. Very small team. And he wanted to teach you his way. That's exactly right. And I was very thankful that he gave me my first job ever, and been thankful ever since.
I'm surprised you still got your hearing.
Huh? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Man. Because those
Yeah.
cars are loud.
They are loud. It's great
Yeah.
too. I love that sound. All right, well, Mr. Ray Shasho, we certainly appreciate you coming on our show with us and being our first guest, and we had a great time. We hope you enjoyed it.
I'm honored. Honored to be the
Thank
first
you.
guest.
Well, we are too, and please tell our listeners one more time about your book, your new book, and where they can find it and when it's coming out.
The Liberty Code. It's available at bookbaby.com, amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com, and very shortly on audiobooks. Right now they're doing the recordings and master tapes and all that good stuff. So it'll be out there pretty soon on that. It's
Awesome.
You can pre-order it now. It's officially released on June 1st.
That is
Great.
awesome.
That's awesome. Thank you. And
Really
folks,
good, really good.
audiobook as well. Awesome.
Audiobook as well.
My most important thing today is I want to say thank you for being on the show, and I
Sure.
cannot wait this is released. The anticipation of it and just waiting. I'm excited because it's a movie. I see it in the future. And once again, thank you for your time and being on our podcast. We appreciate you.
It's my pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me.
All right, everybody, jump on Amazon and click that pre-order button now.
All right.
Well, I didn't come here to dance, and I didn't come here to talk. I just came here for the whiskey, and I'll be here till last call. 'Cause I'm a blue red man. It looks like she's gone for good. She said something about Hollywood. Well, she's a white hot property. Well, what the hell would she do with me?